Hebrews chapter 8 verse 9. KJV. Not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers in the day when I took them by the hand to lead them out of the land of Egypt. Because they continued not in my covenant, and I regarded them not, saith the Lord. For many, today's verse is a justification to dismiss Israel as God's chosen people. As today's verse plainly states, the nation Israel continued not in my covenant. Therefore, the Lord regarded them not. However, which covenant did Israel disregard? You see, there are more than one covenant in the Old Testament. I believe, along with many others way smarter than me, that the covenant spoken of in today's verse is the national covenant proposed by God through Moses. Moses, the lawbringer, brought down from the mountain the 10 universal moral laws. Yet God established in Deuteronomy, and the book of Leviticus, the civil and ritualistic laws. The laws he would have the nation called by his name abide by. Along with these laws, God clearly states the penalty imposed should the laws be transgressed. One of them, and perhaps the most devastating, is that he would scatter the nation should they not obey his commands and statutes. A penalty that has happened more than once throughout history. And still, there is another covenant. There is another promise made to an individual, a promise that had no contingency placed upon the person, other than to trust God. That person is Abraham. God promised Abraham that he would give him countless descendants, as well as a land for them to dwell in forever. Those descendants are known accumulatively as Israel. Is Israel a perfectly holy nation? Absolutely not, but, can you name one that is? Does Israel deserve to be called God's chosen people? And what does that even mean? The answer is simple, no. Israel does not deserve to be called God's chosen people. It was and is a title bestowed by God's grace. The same grace we receive under the new and better covenant fulfilled by Jesus. This is not a saving grace, as all who come to the Father must come through the Son. Rather, the grace bestowed upon Israel is one that relies on God's covenant with Abraham and God's holy and perfect character. That leads us to what it means to be God's chosen people. Well, God chose Israel to reveal himself to the world. By bringing about the Messiah, Jesus. God chose them not because they were the biggest, brightest, most holy nation on the planet. In fact, the Bible makes it clear that God chose them in spite of not being all of those things. Check out what Deuteronomy 7:7-8 says. The Lord did not set his love upon you, nor choose you, because ye were more in number than any people. For ye were the fewest of all people, but because the Lord loved you, and because he would keep the oath which he had sworn unto your fathers, hath the Lord brought you out with a mighty hand, and redeemed you out of the house of bondmen. God chose the runt of all the nations to show his might, patience, grace, mercy, and love. Just as in Christ Jesus, he has chosen to remake all who believe into perfect sons and daughters. God's promises to Abraham are not made null and void by the disobedience of those produced by the promises. Even so, God's promise to Abraham was and is contingent upon God's character and ability alone. And, God has promised to save a remnant of wayward Israel. See Romans 9 and verse 27. How will God do this, you ask? The same way he has been saving sinners for 2,000 years. By grace through faith in Jesus Christ. Mark my words, God will save some of those who belong to the lineage of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, thereby fulfilling his covenant to Abraham, even preserving Israel. Blessings. Discipleship on the go at DHBCLV.